Welcome to our deep dive. Really excited to explore this source material today with you.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, we've got this German AI magazine called AI.MAG, KI Tech magazine for Wissenschaft und Kultur. And I think it's going to give us some pretty cool insights, especially from like the European perspective.
I think that's really valuable because, we're so used to hearing about AI developments from, the Silicon Valley perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And this is they're not afraid to talk about anxieties around the EU AI Act and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely a different perspective.
So one of the big things that kind of jumped out at me is how much they're pushing this idea of Germany as like the Silicon Valley of Europe.
Yeah, I saw that too. That seems to be like a recurring theme throughout the magazine.
Right. They even have this interview with Dr. Fabian Mehring. He's Bavaria's Minister for Digitalization. And he's really like championing this vision.
That's interesting. What's his take on how they're going to achieve that?
He's very vocal about Europe needing to like step up its game, avoid falling behind China and the US in this whole AI race.
Yeah, that seems to be a concern for a lot of European countries, that sense of urgency to not be left behind.
Definitely. And Mehring's like, we need a massive increase in investment, especially for startups.
So supporting homegrown innovation rather than relying on technology from elsewhere.
Exactly. He's really pushing for Europe to nurture its own AI talent.
I can see why that would be a priority for them.
And speaking of supporting startups, they talk about this program called KI Transfer Plus, which is specifically designed to help these small and medium-sized businesses like integrate AI into what they're already doing.
Okay, so it's not just about funding moonshot projects, it's also about helping existing businesses adapt.
Yeah, exactly. Making AI adoption less daunting for the little guys.
That's a really practical approach. I like that.
It makes me think, have you ever thought about how AI could be used in your own work?
Well, increasingly so, yes.
Yeah.
Especially with all these new developments, it's hard to ignore.
Right. Like maybe a program like KI Transfer Plus could be a game changer for certain industries.
Potentially, yeah. But of course, with all this talk about AI innovation comes the inevitable discussion of regulation.
Yeah, and the magazine definitely doesn't shy away from that.
There's a lot of anxiety around the EU AI Act and how it might impact innovation.
Yeah, is it going to stifle progress? Is it going to make it harder for Europe to compete globally? There's a real tension there.
Definitely. On one hand, you have folks like Mehring pushing for innovation, warning against overregulation.
Right, and on the other hand, you have people concerned about the potential downsides of AI, ethical concerns, bias, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's tricky finding that balance between fostering a thriving AI ecosystem and also making sure it's developed responsibly.
Absolutely. But the magazine does present an interesting potential solution to this dilemma.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
They talk about this thing called the AI Innovation Accelerator in Bavaria.
I don't think I came across that. What is it exactly?
It's basically like a sandbox, a protected testing environment where companies can experiment with AI tools before they have to deal with the full weight of the EU regulations.
So kind of like a safe space to try things out, see what works, address any potential issues before they release it to the wider market.
Exactly. It seems like a pretty smart way to encourage innovation while still being cautious.
It is, yeah. It acknowledges that there are risks, but doesn't completely shut down progress because of them.
Right. And speaking of navigating these technological advancements, the magazine throws in a pretty interesting cautionary tale.
Oh, which one?
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, what do they do?
Well, according to the magazine, they totally missed the boat when it came to electric vehicles.
That's interesting.
They were so focused on their traditional combustion engine models that they just didn't adapt quickly enough to the changing market.
Ouch. Yeah, that's gotta hurt. I wonder, are there any parallels to that in other industries?
Yeah, are there any electric vehicle moments on the horizon that people might be missing?
It definitely makes you think. It's a good reminder that no company, no matter how big, is immune to disruption.
Yeah, and it highlights how crucial it is to stay informed about what's happening in AI, even if you don't think it directly applies to you right now.
Absolutely. The landscape is changing so rapidly.
So we've talked about Germany's AI ambitions, the tension between innovation and regulation, and this whole idea of adapting to technological change.
Yeah, it's been fascinating so far.
Now I want to dive into something a bit more human.
What do you mean?
The magazine has this whole feature on personality design in AI.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That was an interesting read.
It features this guy, Alexander Elmaligi. He's from D-Modern, a pretty big European innovation agency.
Okay, and what's his take on personality design?
He's arguing that AI needs to be more than just functional. It needs to be engaging, entertaining, and build emotional connections.
So it's not just about what AI can do, it's about how it makes us feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Mm.
he uses the example of anthropomorphism, which is basically giving human-like qualities to non-human things.
Right, like how brands use mascots and characters.
Exactly. Think Tony the Tiger.
Okay, yeah, I get it. So Elmelegy is saying we need to apply that same thinking to AI, make it more relatable.
Right. Imagine interacting with a chatbot that not only answers your questions, but does so with a sense of humor.
That would definitely change the experience.
Right. It could make AI feel more like a companion rather than just a tool.
Which brings us to another interesting topic that the magazine explores: digital clones.
Oh, wow. Digital clones. Now that sounds intense.
Yeah, they interviewed this marketing expert, Mirella Petrovich, and she uses AI to create digital clones of herself.
Wait, so she actually has like a digital version of herself out there doing things?
Exactly. And the magazine goes into detail about how she uses this tool called Flux to train her digital clone.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing. But doesn't that raise some ethical concerns?
Oh, absolutely. And the magazine doesn't shy away from those. Petrovic herself emphasizes the importance of transparency and responsible use.
So it's about making sure this technology is used ethically.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool, but it needs to be handled with care.
It makes you think, though, about all the possibilities, right? Having your own digital clone to handle certain tasks.
The potential is huge, but so are the risks.
It's definitely a lot to consider.
It is. And it all ties back to this larger conversation about the ethical implications of AI.
Right, which seems like a good place to pause for now.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We'll pick this back up in our next session and delve even deeper into some of the ideas raised in this magazine.
Looking forward to it. So this magazine covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, it really does.
One thing that really stood out to me was their coverage of this event called Bits and Pretzels.
Bits and Pretzels, what's that?
It's this big startup conference they have every year in Munich.
Okay, like a German version of TechCrunch Disrupt or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's a chance for entrepreneurs, investors, tech enthusiasts to network, share ideas, see what's new.
Sounds pretty cool. Did the magazine mention any highlights?
They focused a lot on how the talks emphasized using AI for good, solving real-world problems, benefiting society.
That's good to hear. Kind of counters that narrative that AI is all doom and gloom.
Right, like it's not just about the latest gadgets or making a quick buck. There's a sense of responsibility.
Did they mention any specific speakers?
Yeah, they talked about Jarek Kudalowski, the founder of DeepL, and Sir Demis Hassabis from DeepMind.
Oh, wow. Those are some big names in the AI world.
Yeah, they're really pushing for ethical and responsible AI development.
Which ties back into that whole thing about the EU AI Act, right? Finding that balance between innovation and regulation.
Exactly. And speaking of responsible AI, the magazine also talks about the launch party for Athos.
Oh, yeah. The organization that's focused on ethical AI innovation.
Right. They had this big event in Berlin. Seemed like a real gathering of the minds, academics, researchers, entrepreneurs, even artists.
So it's not just a tech industry thing, it's broader than that.
Yeah, there's a growing movement of people from all different backgrounds who are concerned about the ethical implications of AI.
And wanting to make sure it's used for good.
Exactly. They even had some cool demos at the event, like a fashion designer using AI to create custom clothing patterns, a company using it to optimize website design.
So showing how AI can be both innovative and ethical.
Right. And then the magazine takes us on a little detour to a place you might not expect to be an AI hotspot, Heilbronn, Germany.
Heilbronn, where's that?
It's not exactly Berlin or Munich, but they've been making a real push to establish themselves as an AI hub.
Interesting. What's their strategy?
They have this concept called One Shared Vision, which is all about collaboration, bringing together entrepreneurs, investors, researchers, policymakers.
So it's about creating that ecosystem, the right environment for AI to flourish.
Exactly. And they're putting their money where their mouth is. They gave out cash prizes to AI startups at this festival called Slush D, and they're talking about building a startup factory.
Wow, they're really going for it.
Yeah, and they're partnering with organizations like Campus Founders, which is part of this Europe-wide accelerator program for AI startups.
So tapping into a broader network of resources and expertise.
Right. And then there's the IPAI, the Innovation Park Artificial Intelligence, which is all about connecting research with practical applications.
So making sure that the theoretical side of AI actually translates into real-world solutions.
Exactly. They're working with big companies like SAP and Audi on things like optimizing logistics, improving healthcare, developing sustainable energy solutions.
It's cool to see how AI is being applied to such a wide range of problems.
It is, and it all comes back to that theme of adapting and innovating in the face of technological change.
Right, like Volkswagen, the cautionary tale.
Exactly. They missed the boat on electric vehicles and now they're playing catch up.
It's a good reminder that we can't just sit back and wait for things to happen. We need to be proactive.
We need to understand the potential of AI, even if it doesn't seem directly relevant to us right now, because things can change really quickly.
The magazine also dedicates a whole section to exploring the cultural impact of AI, right?
Yeah, it's not just about robots taking over the world, it's about how AI is influencing art, music, design, even the way we live in cities.
So paint me a picture. How is AI impacting culture?
Well, for example, they featured this DJ and music producer named Sam Ruffalo who uses AI to create his music.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about him, the AI DJ.
Yeah, he uses AI to explore new sounds, push creative boundaries, and create music that he wouldn't be able to make on his own.
It's like AI is becoming a collaborator, a partner in the creative process.
Exactly. And they also talk about how architects are using AI to design buildings that are more energy efficient, responsive to their surroundings, and even personalized to the people who use them.
That's amazing. So AI is helping us create a more sustainable and human-centered built environment.
Right. And they also dive into the potential downsides like bias in AI systems.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, how algorithms can inherit biases from the data they're trained on.
It's a crucial issue. And the magazine emphasizes the need for diverse teams working on AI development and for carefully considering the data that's used to train these systems.
We need to make sure AI is working for everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are so many positive examples of how AI is being used to benefit society.
Like what? Give me some hope.
Well, they talk about how AI is being used in healthcare to improve diagnosis, develop new treatments, personalize patient care.
So AI could potentially help us live longer, healthier lives.
That's the hope. And they also highlight how AI is being used in environmental conservation to monitor wildlife populations, predict natural disasters, and develop sustainable solutions.
It's really inspiring to see how people are using AI to tackle some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
It is. It gives you a sense of optimism about the future.
But it's not just about passively observing these developments, is it? We have a role to play.
Right. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something we're actively shaping.
So we need to stay informed, engage in the conversation, make our voices heard.
Exactly. And speaking of staying informed, the magazine covers this massive digital marketing event called DMXCO.
D-Mexico. Never heard of it.
It's one of the biggest events of its kind in Europe, all about the latest trends in digital marketing.
And AI is playing a big role there, I imagine.
Huge role. Companies are using it to personalize customer experiences, automate tasks, generate content.
So AI is changing the game for marketers.
Absolutely. And it's not just for the big companies. Even small businesses are starting to use AI tools.
Did they mention any specific examples?
Yeah, they quote this marketing consultant, Christoph Salzig, who said something like, those who were confronted with all the solutions were often not quite sure where to start.
I can relate to that. It can be overwhelming with all the new AI tools popping up all the time.
Right. But they also emphasize the importance of not forgetting the basics, like data security and privacy.
Yeah, we can't get so caught up in the hype that we forget about the ethical considerations.
Yep. Exactly. They quote Bernd Kors, the CEO of Alucha, who said, data misuse is a real risk, and companies need to invest in data-secure AI solutions to gain customer trust.
So it's a balancing act, embracing the potential of AI while also being mindful of the risks.
Right. Responsible AI development is key.
Speaking of which, they revisit that topic of digital clones, don't they?
Yeah, they go even deeper into Mirella Petrovic's story.
The marketing expert who has a digital clone of herself.
Right. And they talk about how she uses it to handle social media, create presentations, even interact with clients.
Like having a virtual assistant that looks and sounds just like you.
Exactly. But they also discuss the potential downsides like deepfakes, impersonation, issues of authenticity and transparency.
So it's important to know when you're interacting with a real person versus a digital representation.
Absolutely. And Petrovic stresses the need for transparency, being upfront about using a digital clone.
It all comes back to ethics, right? Using AI responsibly.
It's the overarching theme of this magazine. It's not just about the technology, it's about the choices we make, the world we want to create with it.
It's a powerful message, and I think they do a great job of conveying it.
Yeah, it's not just a tech magazine, it's a magazine about humanity in the age of AI.
And that's what makes it so compelling.
They've got this section on learning resources, too.
Oh, yeah? What kind of stuff?
Free AI courses, both in German and English, on platforms like KI Campus, Udacity, edX.
So whether you're a beginner or more advanced, there's something for everyone.
Right. And they also list 50 top AI tools, covering everything from image generation to data analysis.
Wow, that's quite a list.
It is. It gives you a sense of the breadth of AI innovation that's happening right now.
So they really do provide a well-rounded perspective on AI, not just the technical stuff, but also the ethical and societal implications.
Exactly. And before we move on, I want to mention one more event. They covered the TED Vienna conference.
TED Vienna. I've heard of TED Talks, but not this one.
It's all about the intersection of technology, entertainment, and design in the age of AI.
So it's interesting. Did they highlight any specific talks?
Yeah, they mentioned this guy, Hendrik A. Ries. He's a partner at PwC Germany and a board member of Certif AI, which is the first TA company for AI-based physical products.
AI-based physical products? What does that even mean?
Think self-driving cars, AI-powered medical devices, smart appliances, anything physical that has AI embedded in it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a whole other level of AI.
Right, and Ries is involved in developing certification processes and standards for these products.
So making sure they're safe, reliable, meet ethical guidelines.
Exactly. It's a new frontier for AI, and it's crucial to have those safeguards in place.
It's like we're on the cusp of this whole new era of innovation, and we need to make sure we're doing it responsibly.
Absolutely. And speaking of innovation, remember that list of 50 top AI tools? We should take a look at some of those.
Yes, let's get practical. Show me what AI could do.
This list really showcases the incredible range of AI applications that are available right now.
It's like a peek into the future.
Okay, so one tool that's been getting a lot of buzz is Bing Image Creator.
Bing Image Creator, what's that?
It's Microsoft's AI image generator based on DALL-E.
Wait, you mean I can just type in a description and it will create an image for me?
Yep, pretty much. Photorealistic images, illustrations, abstract art, you name it.
That's wild. I can see that being useful for so many things.
It's a game changer for creative fields. And then there's Google Gemini, Google's new AI chatbot.
Another chatbot. What's special about this one?
It's designed for text generation, analysis, information retrieval, all sorts of things.
So it's like ChatGPT on steroids.
You could say that. It can write emails, articles, summarize documents, do research, even have conversations that feel pretty human-like.
It's amazing how far these chatbots have come.
It really is. And then there's Character AI, which lets you create and interact with AI-driven characters.
So I can actually chat with an AI character.
Yeah, you can choose from pre-made characters or create your own. And they can respond to your questions, tell you stories, role-play different scenarios.
It's like having a conversation with a fictional character.
Exactly. And it highlights the potential for AI to create these really immersive and interactive experiences.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's real.
And that's just a few examples from the list. There are so many more incredible AI tools out there.
It's both exciting and a bit overwhelming to think about all the possibilities.
But it's clear that AI is here to stay. And it's up to us to figure out how to use it wisely.
To shape its future in a way that benefits everyone.
And speaking of shaping the future, the magazine dives into this really interesting topic, the role of AI in promoting sustainable food systems.
AI and sustainable food, how does that connect?
They present this thought experiment, a fictional group chat between some of history's greatest plant-based thinkers.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Who are we talking about here?
Think Pythagoras, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, even Mary Shelley.
Wow, that's quite the group. What are they discussing?
They're debating the challenges and opportunities of plant-based eating in the 21st century.
So it's like using these historical figures to shed light on a very current issue.
Exactly. They're talking about the environmental impact of meat production, the need for more appealing plant-based options, how AI can personalize nutrition and reduce food waste.
It's a really clever way to explore a complex topic.
And it highlights how AI can be used to address real-world problems and create a more sustainable future.
Speaking of creativity, remember that AI DJ we were talking about, Sam Ruffalo?
The one who uses AI to make music? Yes.
Well, the magazine goes even deeper into his story exploring how he actually uses AI in his creative process.
He uses these algorithms that can analyze vast amounts of musical data, helping him come up with new melodies, harmonies, rhythms.
So AI isn't just mimicking existing music, it's helping artists create something new.
Exactly. Ruffalo talks about how AI has helped him break out of his creative comfort zone and come up with music he never would have thought of on his own.
It's really changing the way we think about creativity and the role of technology in art.
And the magazine also explores the bigger questions, like what does AI mean for authorship and originality?
Yeah, those are some deep questions that we're going to have to grapple with as AI becomes more sophisticated.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, the magazine also features an article about AI in architecture and design.
Okay, this is where it gets really futuristic, right? Buildings that design themselves.
Not quite self-designing, but AI is definitely transforming the field. Architects are using AI to optimize designs, make buildings more energy efficient, and create spaces that are more responsive to the people who use them.
So it's about using AI to make buildings smarter, greener, and more human-centered.
Exactly. They highlight examples of AI being used to analyze site conditions, simulate environmental factors, and generate designs that minimize energy consumption.
That's incredible. It's like using AI to create buildings that are in harmony with their environment.
Right, and they also talk about how AI can personalize spaces, like offices that adjust lighting and temperature based on your preferences.
It's like having a building that knows what you need before you even do.
And this is just the beginning. As AI gets more advanced, we can expect even more incredible applications in architecture and design.
It's exciting to think about how AI is changing the way we design and interact with our built environment.
And it's not just buildings. AI is being used to design entire cities, optimizing traffic flow, improving safety, creating more sustainable urban environments.
It's really amazing to think about the potential of AI to transform our cities and make them better places to live.
And it's not just a futuristic vision, it's already happening in cities around the world.
So AI is already having a real impact on the way we live.
Yes, and that impact is only going to grow in the years to come.
It's both exciting and a bit daunting to think about all the possibilities.
But it's clear that AI is a powerful force for change, and it's up to us to make sure that change is for the better. It's amazing. You know how this magazine doesn't just focus on the big, flashy AI stuff?
Oh, what else did they cover?
Well, they have this article about plant-based diets and how AI can help make them, more appealing and accessible.
Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that connection.
It's presented as this fictional group chat between some historical figures who were known for their plant-based lifestyles.
Oh, like who?
We're talking Pythagoras, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein even.
Wow, that's quite the dinner party.
Right, and they're all discussing the challenges and opportunities of plant-based eating, in the 21st century.
So it's like using history to look at a modern issue.
Exactly. They talk about things like the environmental impact of meat production, the need for more delicious and affordable plant-based options, and you know how AI can personalize nutrition.
That makes sense, like using AI to come up with new recipes or something.
Yeah. Exactly. And they also talk about reducing food waste, which is a huge problem.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool how they use this creative format to explore it.
It's engaging.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely. It's not just a dry lecture.
So, speaking of creativity, we were talking about that AI DJ earlier.
Oh, yes, Sam Ruffalo, the one who uses AI to make music.
Right. So the magazine actually goes deeper into his story and explores how he uses AI in his process.
Cool. What did they say?
Well, he uses all these algorithms that analyze tons of musical data,
Okay.
and that helps him generate new melodies, harmonies, and rhythms.
So it's like having an AI composer as your assistant.
Kind of. He talks about how it's helped him break out of his comfort zone and create music he never could have imagined before.
It's amazing. It's like AI is becoming this tool for expanding human creativity.
Right. And the magazine also gets into those big questions about authorship and originality when AI is involved.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
It is. It makes you think about what it even means to be creative in the age of AI.
For sure. So they covered music. What other creative fields did they explore?
Architecture and design.
Ooh, okay, so like buildings that design themselves?
Not quite that advanced, but they talk about how architects are using AI to optimize building designs,
Okay.
making them more energy efficient and creating spaces that are more responsive to the people who use them.
So like a building that adapts to you.
Yeah, exactly. They give examples of AI being used to analyze site conditions, simulate environmental factors, and create designs that use less energy.
That's incredible. It's like AI is helping us design buildings that are in harmony with nature.
Right. And they also talk about personalization, like offices that adjust lighting and temperature based on your preferences.
That's so cool. It's like the building is learning about you.
It is. And this is just the beginning, they say. As AI advances, we can expect even more amazing applications in architecture and design.
It's really mind-blowing to think about how AI is changing our world.
It is, and this magazine has really opened my eyes to possibilities.
Me too. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. What really stood out to you?
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that AI isn't just some futuristic fantasy anymore.
Right.
It's here, it's now, and it's already having a huge impact on our lives.
And we have a role to play in shaping its future.
Exactly. This magazine doesn't just tell us about AI, it empowers us to think critically about it and to make informed choices.
It's a call to action, really.
It is. And it's up to all of us to decide what kind of